Hello everybody, welcome back to Throttle Grotto. This week we're going to try something completely new on the Boxsturd. So this week we're going to try something completely new. I've never tried it before, at least with the right equipment. I did a little bit of it on the Mazda, but paintless dent removal. So ideally I would probably just yank the corner of this car out. It's got some damage from where the car went through the ditch. Who knows what it hit? Looks like maybe it hit a fence or something like that. But I've got a whole bunch of dents on the side here, and I'm going to try to remove them with paintless dent removal tools. So I bought some stuff on Amazon. I bought a set of rods, and I bought some knockdown tips, I guess you'd call them. And I also ordered a glueless puller kit, but that's not here yet. So I'm going to get started. Usually I would probably want to start with the glueless pads and do some pulls on that, but I'm actually going to do that on the rockers because that's a really good place to try to use those first. So I'm going to get the rods. I've got the heat gun already. I've already pulled the side vent, which is probably how I'm going to get to most of this dent. That's going to be this episode. It's either going to be success or fail. So let's. So you can see here I got a nice big dent right here, and then the dent kind of works down into here a little bit too. So fortunately I can get to most of it this way, but like right about here there's actually like a bulkhead and I can't get past it. So I'm gonna have to go through from the trunk and hope I can get this out. Worst case scenario, I've got a stud gun kit that I can put on here and I can pull this whole arch back out. But I figured why not try with the paintless dent and see what I can do with it, because worst case scenario I can always cut the metal off and get something from a junkyard. So but I figured first I'd show you the kit that I bought. This kit has I picked that up just about right. Has different shaped rods, and it also comes with some tips, some softer tips that screw into the ends of these. So I'm actually using they're like a hardened plastic or something instead of using a metal tip on here. So it makes it I've got a little more room for error. So I'm gonna go grab the tips, get the heat gun going, and see what we can do. This is a skill that takes years to learn, to be decent at, and even longer to master. So I don't feel bad about how things went so far. My little kit for the glue-on stuff hasn't shown up yet, and I'm running out of daylight. But we're not done fixing it yet. That quarter panel is going to be fixed. It's just a matter of, do I need to strip the paint off of it to do it or not? So I have the stuff to strip the paint off of it and fix it with painting dent removal, but I don't know if I want to do that. So at least not till spring, because we're almost I don't know how I got a nice day. All right, everybody. So I got the glue dent pulling kit in, and I've been using it, and I used it a lot on that rear wheel arch. So at the end of this episode, I'm actually going to show you the progress I made on that rear arch. But I wanted to kind of show you guys how it works. I know there's a lot of videos out there already on how this glue style dent pulling works. But if you haven't seen one, you can watch me do it and then actually go see someone who knows what they're doing. Do it. but it's actually really cool stuff. So let me get set up here and then I'll show you how it works. Okay, so the kit that I bought comes with a whole bunch of these little plugs, or puller tabs I guess is what they're called, and you can see they got a little tab on one end and then like a grooved section where you put the glue and then put it to the panel. And they come in different sizes and shapes and all that kind of stuff. It also came with this little puller here, which you basically like set on the panel and then squeeze the trigger and it lifts the tab. Some of the kits you can buy also come with a slide hammer. This one I already had, so I just modified one of the little attachments I had for the slide hammer to accept the tabs that I already had. So I find that I end up using both. Some situations it's really good to have the trigger puller. Some situations the slide hammer just works a lot better. So and it also comes with a glue gun, some glue sticks. The only thing that you'll need outside of that is some like rubbing alcohol. And what that does is it actually softens up the glue when you're done with it, so you can just peel the glue off the panel and clean up the tabs afterwards, because it sticks to the tabs really well. So it's really easy to use. It's actually a lot of fun. And I've got one giant dent down here that I'm going to work on. I'm going to preface this with saying, because this dent in this rocker panel is huge, there's not much access to it. So I'm going to see if I can pull this dent out at all, and basically I'll probably end up using up the rest of the glue that I have. I used a lot of glue on the rear quarter panel. It comes with, I think it came with 10 glue sticks, and you go through glue pretty quick, but it's actually a lot of fun to do. So I got the heat gun out because it's good to heat up the panel and the tab before you put it on the car. And so I'm going to start heating things up, and I'm going to see if I can get some success on this big monster dent I have down here. So I'm just going to put tabs through here and see if I can get it to pull out. I might have success, I might not, but okay, so you can see here now I've got these tabs glued on, and you do need to give them some time to dry, or the glue to set. Usually takes a couple minutes. Here's the one I pulled off. I didn't like how it was setting up, so I just pulled it off. But I'm not worried about that because the alcohol will clear up the leftover glue. So now I'm going to use my tools, and I'm going to try to pull these dents out. And what'll probably happen is these will pull a little bit, and then the glue will pop off, and I'll have to clean the tabs, reset them, and do it a few times. But I'm basically just going to work till I run out of glue, and we'll see how far I get. Okay, so I ran until basically I ran out of glue. I've got about a half a stick left, but the stick that I have is I don't know if it's a cold weather glue, but it's just not sticking as well. The other thing that would be good is if I had this car up in the air a little bit and I could use the slide hammer on some of this stuff. But made good progress today. Actually, it doesn't look like it. This is a really tough pull. This is something that I probably will end up using my weld-on stud gun on. Ideally, this needs to be ground down to metal and then studs welded on, and then use the slide hammer on the studs to pull the metal out. It's just the way this is bent up is not really conducive to this glue stuff, or at least to the level of experience that I have. But I think I made it better. I got some of the dent out. I could see some of the stuff pop or pull out when I was working on it. So let's take a look. So the dent started here before, and we got probably inch and a half of it out. This is definitely a lot shallower than it was, but I still think I'm going to have to come through here, grind this down to metal, weld some studs on, maybe weld the studs on up through here, and just pull all of it out that way. So I went into the rocker panel knowing that I was probably going to have to respray the rocker anyway. So I figured I'd try it out. I had some of the leftover material from doing the rear quarter, and it works. It's actually kind of fun to do if you have like an afternoon just to play around with a dent you've got. The kits are pretty cheap on Amazon. I think I spent 40 bucks on this kit, so it's not too bad. You know, if you got something that you're hesitant on respraying that's got a dent in it, watch some of the videos online, not necessarily this one because I don't really go into like theory and detail and all that kind of stuff, but you can actually learn quite a bit just watching online, at least enough that you can play around with it for an afternoon, and if you really screw it up, call the Paintless Dent guy and have him come out and finish the job for you. So before the end of this episode, the last thing is to show you the rear quarter, which is behind me, which I did. I started out doing with the rods from the inside, and that just didn't work. You probably saw me earlier using my bat, my fender rolling bat, to try to work the fender arch out a little bit, and that helped. But it's so the thing is with paintless dent removal is the last 5% is probably the hardest part of the job, and I got nowhere near to the last 5%. But like in my driveway at home, not knowing anything about doing this, I got it to the probably 10%, maybe 15% mark. But I made a pretty big improvement in where it was just by working at it. Now, I had a lot of time into that, but it turned out pretty good. So let's take a look. All right, so the light out here is sort of flattering for this. But you can see, yep, I mean, it's still through here, it's still flattened out. I wasn't able to get it completely out. There's still a lot of little dents and dimples down through here that I haven't been able to get out. I could probably do some more glue pulling up in this area and get that pulled out a little bit more. Bottom line is this, you know, this is, well, okay, so 10 to 15% was probably optimistic, but I got the big flat part out of it and made it quite a bit better. And you have to, and no, no, I did not buy an RV. My neighbor just needed to park it in my driveway for a couple hours. So that is the end of this episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed watching me try to not mess up paintless dent removal too badly. Hopefully nobody that's a professional in paintless dent removal is watching this, because they're probably cringing in horror. But bottom line, you can do it yourself in your driveway if you want to play around with it for a little while and you're careful and you don't make it worse. You know, you can have fun with it, and if it's something you really care about and you're really trying to bring back to perfect, call the professionals and have them do it, because they'll get it done right the first time, and save the practicing for something that you might throw away otherwise, or you just don't want to spend big tons of money on. So that's it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching. If you like the channel, subscribe, hit the bell so that you know that new videos are coming out. Until next time, get out there and work on something.